Lassie Farm here. I'd like to talk about hitchhikers today. Used to see a lot of those, not anymore. You see more unicorns than hitchhikers. This is by Jack Handey, former writer of Saturday Night Live. I have a confession to make. About a year ago, I was driving along a country road when I hit a hitchhiker. That it was an accident in no way excuses the pain and suffering I caused. About a month later, I hit another hitchhiker. A hitchhiker can leave a pretty good dent in your car, so I took it into the shop to get both dents removed. While it was there, I decided to get around by hitchhiking. Right away, an older gentleman picked me up. He grew tired of driving and offered to take over. While I was driving, I hit another hitchhiker. The old man was asleep at the time, so I never told him. Later, I heard that the hitchhiker had tracked the old man down and, when he went out to check his mailbox, drove by him and hit him with his car. How the hitchhiker got a car, I don't know. Maybe it was a friend's car, or maybe his car had been in the shop. But the point is, it's a weird world out there. Since hitting that last hitchhiker, I have accidentally hit 28 other hitchhikers. I don't know what's going on. Everyone hits at least a few hitchhikers every year, whether you realize it or not. Have you ever been driving and hit a strange bump and wondered, what was that? Well, that was a hitchhiker. But to me, 28 just seems like way too many. I decided to get to the bottom of it. Maybe I was just going through a hitchhiker phase. Or maybe it was something more serious. My eye doctor checked my eyes and said they were fine. I asked him to also look at my car, and although he insisted that he wasn't a mechanic, he said it looked okay to him. I wondered if I harbored some secret animosity toward hitchhikers. So I went to a psychiatrist. He gave me a test. First, he handed me a framed picture of a hitchhiker and asked me my thoughts. My first thought was to wonder why someone would frame a picture of a hitchhiker. But he wanted more. I hope he gets a ride, I said of the picture and put it down. Then he gave me a framed picture of a driver. I hope he has a safe journey, I said. Then I accidentally dropped the driver picture onto the hitchhiker picture, breaking it. The psychiatrist asked me not to come back, so I guess I passed. Has drinking been involved? Unfortunately, yes. Not prior to the accidents, but afterward. If you have ever seen the terrifying face of a hitchhiker pressed against your windshield or heard his angry words as you sped away, then you too would need to go home and have a stiff drink. Some people say, why don't you quit driving altogether? It's funny, but after every hitchhiker you hit, you think, yeah, that's got to be the last one. Then, of course, it isn't. But even if you stop driving, you can't avoid hitchhikers. They're part of our culture. When you walk from one room to another, aren't you giving, quote, hitchhikers a ride? I'm not sure, I'm just asking. So what can be done? I believe that working together, hitchhikers and I can cut down on the number of them that I am hitting. For hitchhikers, I would suggest the following. Don't hitchhike on a curve, because a lot of times you can't control a car when you're going around a curve and you drift up onto the shoulder. Don't stand on a straight stretch of highway either, because sometimes the straightness can make a driver confused and he'll start swerving all over the place. Don't hold up a sign, because when you read something, you naturally aim for it. Don't wave that thumb back and forth, because that can mesmerize a driver. I'm trying to do my part. For one thing, when I drive at night, I always make sure my lights are on. Also, I have installed a loud warning siren on my car, which I blast when I'm close to a hitchhiker. I have a lot of other ideas which I write down on my notepad while I'm driving. I don't blame hitchhikers. They're simply doing what nature intended. Hitchhiking is not evil, but neither is it the panacea some people think it is. I foresee a day when I will spot a hitchhiker on the side of the road, and I will wave politely as I drive by. Or I will pull over, throw open the door, and say, "Hop in, buddy." And I won't stop the car too late so that I bump the guy and send him sliding back down into the gravel, and then he angrily runs up and grabs onto my rear bumper as I try to get away, and I have to fishtail back and forth to shake him off. That day is not quite here, but it's coming.